This is the Shib coin 1 month overview reading for the month of November 2023. It's currently September 23rd, 2023, 9:26 p.m. Eastern Time. Shib coin at the time of this reading is currently 0.0000741. That's 5 zeros after the decimal point followed by 741, and that's USD. The shuffle video that we're about to play for the November reading was created on September 3rd, 2023 at 3:20 p.m. Eastern Time. That's this video right here. So with the overall theme and behavior for Shib coin in November, we have a failed attempt to break through key resistance on a multi-day scale followed by a decline through key support on a multi-day scale. It's crossed with an important technical price level that's highlighted. The Ace of Swords in a lot of cases is a highest high when you have it in like the case of like a theme card or a prominent card like the crossing card. It's also a cross-reading congruency, giving it extra prominence, which means that in the October reading, the sneak preview card was the Ace of Swords, and it appears here in prominence, giving us quite a bit of information telling us there's an important high here in the month of November. You cross that with the cross-reading congruency from the 1 year, where we have the Sun card as a significator on the November reading. It's also the significator for the high in the November cluster on the 1 year for the 2023 reading. So that gives it extra prominence, and these things go together. So very likely what we're going to see is the same high that we've already seen. Right? We're probably going to come up against. It's either going to be the same high or it'll be a highest high. But my sense is that it's probably the same high because of the failed attempt to break through key resistance. So somewhere around the 0.00001 to 0.0001141, somewhere in that range is most likely where the highs will take place in November. And before we get into the locations to the day where we see highs and lows for the month, as well as the best trades that we see, let's take a look and see how we're doing for how we did in August. I think we pretty much nailed August. So we had a highest high here on the 12th. You can see right here on the 12th, we have a highest high. We did have a indication Ace of Swords is also in a lot of cases a highest high card. And we had it here on the 5th. And guess what? Here on the 5th, we also had a highest high. Boom. So this is really accurate. The lowest low, we had one around the 19th, 21st. So it was like a double low around the 19th, 21st. And it looks like we were a little bit early on the first one we had for the 19th. And then we have it for the 22nd. But that's looking pretty solid. The double low here, 1, 2. And then we had at the end of the month a possibility of another highest high or just a really prominent move to the upside. And you can see we had a prominent high here on the last day of the month on the 30th. Unicursal hexagram energy indicating a pivot point to the downside. And you can see you would have made a lot of money had you followed the unicursal hexagram trade and opened up a short position in anticipation of a decline into September. This is a solid reading, guys. And so this reading was created August 1st, 2023 at 2:19 p.m. Eastern Time. People that have the paid version of this were utilizing this to trade. They also, guys, if you use the readings regularly, the shitcoin reading, it's really the right thing to do is go to the channel and support the channel by subscribing to the paid version. The paid version gets you all of the information as far as price levels and highs, best trades that we see, as well as the ones to avoid. You get the paid version here under SO Meta post on our website, Tarot for Traders. Scroll down to monthly subscription, click on Shibcoin. And if you're interested in more than one of these subscriptions, you want all of them, or you just want several of them, highly recommend the 250. It's the highest, it's the most popular subscription that we have on the channel, and it's a great way to support the channel. We definitely recognize the names of everybody that goes ahead and does that because they're a big part of why we're able to put out all of the content that we do. The monthlies are really a great way to support the channel. Thank you to everybody that goes ahead and does that. And let's get into the highs and lows that we see, and then we'll get into the best trades that we see. So most likely location is here on the 15th, and then maybe again we see it here on the 18th. It's possible, the 18th, 19th. That's the most likely location of the highest high. It is possible that we see a highest high here on the 4th, or a highest high thus far on the 4th, followed by a lowest low here on the 7th. This will be a lowest low thus far on the 7th, not a lowest low for the month. I see the lowest lows for the month here on the 27th into the 30th. A lot of ground, a lot of price change off of the 3rd, 4th into this low on the 7th. And then there's a prominent peak or crest that'll stand out around the 8th, 9th as well. Likely not a highest high, but there is some possibility of it. If it is, it'll be like the same high. All right, so the first trade that I see is here on the 1st in the midst of a notable decline on the 1st. So on or around the 1st, there should be a notable decline increasing with momentum throughout the day, like a sideways fluctuating decline, and it'll proceed a significant move to the upside. So I would say opening up a long position in the midst of a decline on or around the 1st would be a good idea. And then you could hold that until the 3rd, where we have a significant opportunity. And it looks like this orange here on the 2nd and the 3rd indicates a failed attempt to break through key resistance. So in actuality, it may very well be that the highest high is right here. It may very well be. There's a strong possibility of the highest high being here on the 4th, on the 3rd, 4th. So I would say the decline into the 1st offers opportunity to open up a long position, close a long position on the 3rd at a highest high. Or if there's no highest high on the 3rd, then wait until the 4th in the midst of a rally to a highest high thus far anyways. Close that long position. That's where you could open up a short position, which I would close the very next day, probably towards the mid to late part of the day, unless there's a notable gap down or a notable move to the downside early in the day. Then I would close out of the short there. But it'll be somewhere throughout the day in the midst of a notable move to the downside. And there's a bunch more trades. I'm going to get into those as we get into the chart behavior on a day-by-day basis in the paid version. Guys, check out the paid version if you're interested in the whole prediction. Much appreciation. And for those of you that make money from the trade that we're giving away here, the whole purpose of the channel is to take some of the stock market energy and transmute it into goodwill. We're taking competitive stock market energy and we're transmuting it into goodwill. And you do so here on the resources tab of our website, Tarot for Traders, where we ask that you're donating 5% of the profits that you make from this information forward to one of these charities. Just click here. It's so easy. Click here and donate, right? And then 5% of the profits, donate it back to the channel here at one of these links. It really helps out the channel. Much appreciation. Also gives us incentive to keep putting out this content, because otherwise it would get boring if we didn't get any rewards out of it. That leaves you at 90% of the money. Make sure to spend that money out of love. As long as you follow those rules, that makes you an angel investor of the channel, my friends. The universe is going to send it back to you tenfold through this channel.